Hello and welcome to episode 17 of my podcast, Tom Sips into Conversation With. This is the last week of the current season, season 2. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to record a new season, but hopefully I'll find time to record and release the odd episode here and there. But now that kind of lockdown has kind of ended and I'm back at full-time work, trying to record and edit full conversations for a full season is going to be quite a struggle, but hopefully I can still continue this in some kind of way. This week on the episode I have Jessica from Jessica Louise Music. I started listening to her music after she started following me on Instagram after the first episode of my podcast, where I talked to Kira, one of my friends who is a musician, and really enjoyed her music. Also, if you're listening to this on the day that it's coming out, her single from her new EP is releasing today as well, which is really exciting. So after you finish listening to this episode, definitely go and check it out on Spotify. I'll leave links down below. Her first EP is coming out soon, so definitely make sure you follow her on her socials and follow her on Spotify as well, so you can listen to the new EP when it's released. So about this episode, we talk about how she got into music, about her kind of creating, her writing process, and how she creates a song. We talk a little bit about learning instruments and finding that right guitar, that if you're a musician or you're into music at all, then you'll kind of know that feeling when you find that right guitar that has the right sound for you. We also talk a little bit about gigging and how the lockdown has kind of altered her writing process. We also talk a little bit about her inspirations and about what she does for work as well. I'll be back in the middle with a little update from Jessica, and then I'll also be back at the end with just a little bit more update from me. And then right at the very end of the episode, very lucky to have this final season played out by Jessica playing an acoustic version of one of her songs, which is one of my favourite songs from her. So definitely make sure you listen all the way through the episode and then listen to her perform right at the end. But for now, we slip into the conversation with me asking where she's from.
I'm from just outside of Warrington, so northwest, Merseyside really. But I've just moved to Manchester. Well, I say I've just moved. I've been living in Manchester for the past 6 months. So I moved during lockdown out for the first time, which was a bit of a learning curve. But yeah, I'm a Manchester habitant now, shall we say. That's where I'm from officially now.
That's cool. I can kind of pick up a little bit of like a northern accent at the moment. I'm guessing Warrington is kind of northernish.
Yeah, so I'm northwest. So my dad's from Liverpool, so sometimes my accent sounds a bit scouse. And then like we're from St Helens, which is quite Lancashire, sort of Merseyside kind of. I'm smack bang in the middle of Liverpool and Manchester, so I've got a bit of an unusual accent if you've never sort of heard someone from round where I'm from, really. Quite hard to place.
How did you get into music?
So I studied English and drama at uni, and I've always kind of done like musical theatre and theatre. So a lot of my like sort of training, if you like, for in any sort of music knowledge or like singing or anything was always musical theatre training. So that's where I kind of learnt to like belt and stuff. And I've got kind of two voices really. I do like musical theatre acting voice where it's like big songs, big belty songs, and then the music that I make is quite sometimes a bit folky. It's a lot softer, I think. But yeah, so I did my degree, and I've always kind of dabbled in music, and I've been in a couple of bands and stuff when I was a lot younger than I am now, and it just kind of fizzled out a bit when I went to college and when I went to uni. But towards the end, when you start asking yourself those questions of what do I want to do and who do I want to be and stuff, music is something that makes me feel really comfortable. So I just sort of started writing again. I went through quite a tough sort of period of my life in my last 4 months of uni, and it kind of made me reevaluate like what's important to me and sort of what were my goals, and that's where the music kind of set off. So I've only really been doing music as Jessica Louise for about I think it's just coming up to 2 years really. It'll be 2 years in summer, so
Wow.
I'm a bit of a baby really in the music industry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool though, like following your passion. And then, so you used to do music theatre as well?
Yeah, so I used to do I was part of like the drama society at uni. I used to chair the theatre society. I did it in my last year. But all the way through uni, we did like shows and things. And I love musicals. I love writing plays. Like theatre is a big passion of mine actually. So I just kind of adapted sort of my love for theatre and writing and poetry and into sort of songwriting. And I've always loved singing. I was one of those kids that was like always singing, always being like, I'm going to go on X Factor when I'm older. And like, obviously that's not really a goal anymore. That's a bit of a thing in the past. But I've always loved music and I find a lot of comfort in music. And I think I've been brought up by two people that my mum especially, she loves her music. So been given quite a broad range of it, and that's where the passion sort of comes from, I think, is being exposed to it from such a young age.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, I've started following you quite recently because I think you probably followed or watched the interview I did with Kira.
Yeah.
And then I realized that you're a musician, checked out a couple of your songs, and I was like, I've got to talk to you. Like, there's, you know, that when you have like waves of like, you're trying to find that new band or that new artist, even like the type of music, just the type of music that you do just kind of like hit that right kind of sound that we were kind of looking for a bit.
That's so good to hear.
I think you've only got a few tracks. I guess you've only been doing it for a couple of years, but you've got a few singles now. Are you working on an EP or an album?
Yeah, so I released my first single in 2019, my first official one. So I put out a few like silly tracks that weren't the best produced. But Better Place is sort of the single that I say it was the first sort of jump into professional producing and stuff and recording. But I've only got a couple of songs out because I'm such a perfectionist. Like I would hate after putting out some stuff that I wasn't too happy with at the start. I'm so picky about what I produce and how I do it, and it's such a process, and it's quite expensive, to be honest with you as well. It's another reason. But I work with two different producers, and they're both fabulous, and I learn so much from them. That's honestly one of my favourite parts of music is sort of learning the new skills and watching how. Because I write and do all mine on acoustic guitar, and then watching it become like what they do to eventually turn into is so amazing to me. But I'm working on an EP in April. That's when I'm going into the studio, and I honestly like the preparation for it. It's so exciting, and I can't wait to be working on something that's a bit bigger, because obviously I've only dropped singles so far. So yeah, an EP is what I'm working on.
That's amazing.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, I don't know if you know, I used to do music technology when I was at college and university.
Okay.
So like the music world is still ultimately fascinating to me, and like it's just such like you're never done learning music. Like there's so many different elements to it, and I think to be honest, that's one of the reasons why I don't think I'll be able to like go back into it, is because it moves at such a fast pace as well. I'll be miles behind now because it's been many years since I did university. But yeah, I mean, do you mind talking through your kind of like writing process?
Yeah, so it's changing a little bit. So I have sort of two different ways that I do it. So I don't know music theory. I was never taught it. I think I did a bit of it in high school. It's something that I really do want to work on myself. So for me, writing songs, it either starts with words and phrases I've heard people use, and like I have a song called Eyes Like Mine, and that was all built around my friend. One of my friends, he's got the same eyes as me. We've got very similar sort of colours in our eyes. And he was like, "Oh, you've got eyes like mine." And then that became like the stimulus for a song, if you like. So I just took that and I just sort of wrote down phrases, and it becomes a bit of a poem, really. And then I find chords, and then from that I try and pick away at my guitar and come up with little nice riffs and things. But then I've been really trying hard recently to not just rely on the lyrics and come up with the like start to compose a bit more and understand my instruments more, because I'm confident with my voice. Like I've trained my voice by myself, and I trust my voice, but I want to be better on instruments, and that's like a big project of mine. Is one, finding the motivation at the moment in the current climate to really push myself, but two, like I don't really want to be the person anymore that isn't quite sure how to articulate how I want things to sound. So getting better on my guitar is something that I am aspiring to do, really. But I have started writing songs purely on guitar first, and then seeing where it goes. But I am a lyricist, really. That's I like songwriting in terms of like telling stories and stuff. So that's where I start, really.
Nice. How long have you been playing guitar for?
Oh gosh, so I used to play guitar in school. I had like little lessons, and then I didn't pick it up for years. I then picked it up again slightly in college for about 3 months, put it down again. I picked it back up again in sort of the first year of university. So for me, that was about 4 years ago now. But I had a partner at the time. I had a boyfriend at the time who he played guitar, so I used to try and learn a bit from him, and then that ended. That was fine. I stopped for a bit, and then I picked it back up again. So that was when I started to really knuckle down on my guitar. Was probably about a year and a half ago, where I just kind of got bored of only knowing like open chords, and I wanted to sort of understand bar chords a bit and like scales and stuff. But I'm still such a novice on the guitar, but I'm a lot better than I was.
Yeah, it's one of those. It just takes just a lot of time and a lot of practice, isn't it? And like, yeah, like I don't really know like proper like music theory as such. Like I think I was very gifted with my dad, who has been in bands all his life. All my life, and I've just grown up around music. So for me, I was able to pick up tunes and stuff pretty quickly. But I was never really. I think I remember like when I was really young, I did used to like write songs down, but then I think for some reason I just destroyed them all, and then ever since then, I don't know if I've just got writer's block. I just don't know where to start anymore. But yeah, I'm more. I play bass more than I do anything else, but like I haven't really like picked it up in quite a while.
I'm like this far away from buying a bass guitar, because I love bass guitars. I think they're so cool. I think that's something I'd like to learn. I just think like they're just such a sexy instrument, a bass guitar. Like like I've got my guitars, I've got my acoustic, but I think if I just had a bass, like I think they're so cool.
Yeah, really cool. I really want to get just an acoustic guitar at some point.
Yeah.
But like our apartment is just too small, and we can't hang anything on the walls. Like we've got all that Velcro stuff, and Velcro is not going to hold up a guitar. So
oh god, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my acoustic guitar is a Taylor GS Mini, so it's like it's really small. Really, I can't play full sized acoustics. My arms aren't long enough.
I feel like ever since Ed Sheeran, like small, like those kind of like smaller guitars are like way more popular and fashionable. Like I
Yeah.
would never see them in like guitar shops. And then now, like, I don't know, the last time I went to a guitar shop, there was like a full massive row. There was a full wall of like those smaller guitars.
I just love them. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I used to play like full size acoustics, but I just my arms could never quite reach around the bodies of the ones I was playing. And then I found this Taylor, and it's made out of koa, so the grain on it's really natural and it's beautiful. It's like it's untreated wood, and it's just honestly, I remember picking it up in the store and playing it, and just being like, oh my gosh, I've never played a guitar that has been so perfect for me. And I've had it since like 2016 now, and she is my baby. Like, I love her so much.
I think anyone who's listening to this who plays music of any kind, they'll know what you mean when you pick up that one guitar, because not every guitar's the same, but there's like,
Oh no.
like you can spend an hour in a guitar shop and then like there's just one that's got that sound that's your sound.
Yeah, it just felt right. Like, I love Taylors, so like I know a lot of people are Martin kind of. They love Martin guitars because they're quite rich in sound, whereas a Taylor for me it's quite bright. I love the bright sound of my guitar, and I do play a lot of like when I do gigs, it's usually just me and my guitar. So it's so loud unplugged, and then the sound that you can get out of it, it always gets compliments. Like, people are always like, oh, I'm gonna play your guitar, like your guitar's so nice, like where did you find this, like how did you get it to look like that? And I'm like, it's natural. It's natural. I'm really lucky to have that guitar, and I don't think I'd ever sell it either. It's like, when it's got a lot of memories behind it. It's such a, I don't know, it's just kind of like a piece that I think I'll always have with me.
That's really cool. Let's kind of talk a little bit about gigging, like, because you've only been kind of performing for like what you said, about 2 years. Have you been able to have many opportunities for gigs?
So what kind of kicked off my music, actually, this sort of wave of music like this, like the Jessica Louise part of music, was that I got asked to play at Salford Pride, their Pride event. And it was like the first gig I'd ever done on my own, really. And it was like 300 people. And I just remember being like, oh my God, like, this is going to be so stressful. I don't know all my songs. Like, there was loads of drag queens everywhere. So I was just like in awe of everyone. I was like, I'm not cool enough to be playing here. And then I just kind of got like some sort of like addiction to gigging. Like, I absolutely loved the feeling of being on stage and watching people get happy because you're playing songs that they know. But that was when I used to do like covers and stuff. But even now, I do a lot of gigging in Warrington, and they've got a really, really good music scene in Warrington. And it's getting to the point now where people know my songs in there. So I like that buzz that you get when you see someone singing along to your song. I just love it.
That rush.
I had like I did a few gigs in Liverpool, and I had a few in Manchester. Like, there was a sort of a period of time in sort of like, I can't remember when it was, I think it was July, where like you could have a gig inside as long as everyone was like sat at a table. So I did a lot of like acoustic nights where everyone, like the bands, played really stripped back sets, and they were really lovely because I love intimate gigs, because I have been sort of working with a band, but obviously it's been really hard and you can't really rehearse or anything, and everyone's got jobs, everyone's just trying to make ends meet at the moment. So I'm so used to just playing on my own, and because of that I get invited to do a lot of really intimate acoustic gigs, and that's sort of my favourite type of gigging, really, is because you get to kind of get that feeling with the audience, and you kind of create a personal relationship with them. And I just miss gigging so much. It's so sad. Like, I can't wait for venues and things to be open again, because there's just so much like new music out that people need to play live. Like,
yeah, there's just such a magic from like seeing and hearing a band live.
Yeah.
So, what's your kind of like biggest gig that you've been able to do? Or do you prefer those like intimate gigs?
Yeah, see, because I am just sort of, I'm a singer songwriter. Really, it's just me a lot of the time. I haven't really been able to do like bigger gigs. That was a goal of mine this year, to be honest, was get working with my band and making sure we had like a slick set, and we could have gigged and done bigger sets and stuff, because I've got a lot of friends in bands who they get those bigger gigs, and I always kind of, you're always dead proud of them, but I always kind of be like, oh, I wish I could play that stage, or I wish I could have a band and do that. So I do a lot of smaller gigs. Do a lot in Warrington, as I say, and they had a lot of summer events and winter events, and I do a lot of work with like charities and stuff as well. It's just fun. I don't know. I like my smaller ones at the moment.
Yeah, and hopefully, like in this like post COVID world, whenever that happens, you know, there'll be more opportunities. I think people are dying to go and see gigs and stuff. They're like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be a gradual thing until you'll be able to have like a big room full of people. I mean, there's going to be a lot of outdoor gigs eventually at some point. I think they're going to be quite popular. But
I played one. I played an outdoor gig during. It was like, I think we were tier 2, so you could have. It was allowed. It was, but that was obviously during COVID time, and that was so cool. It was absolutely chucking it down. My hand was like sliding up my guitar. It was so fun, but that's the closest I've had for a year of feeling like I was doing a proper gig. So
yeah, how did this last kind of COVID year kind of affect your creativeness?
Lockdown 1, I wrote some of my favourite songs I've ever written in Lockdown 1, and they weren't even. I made myself like a mission not to write any lockdown songs. Like, I was like, I'm not writing songs about COVID. I'm not writing songs about how it's made me feel, and like, I don't want to think about it. So I wrote songs about, well, Television Mister, which is on my Spotify. I wrote that about Paul McGann in With Neil and I, the film, because I watched it with my mum and dad. Really fancied the character in it, and was like, I wrote Television Mister in about 10 minutes, and I just like came downstairs and showed my mum. I was like, I just wrote this song about Paul McGann, and she found that so funny because he's like 60 now or something. In the film he's like my age. So yeah, I had like I wrote Nice Try, my latest single, in Lockdown 1, but sort of I moved to Manchester. Things picked up in terms of like promoting myself on social media. Like I've grown my social media a lot, but then this third lockdown came, and I think everyone's just kind of had enough, and it's really, really stunted me a little bit. And like I'm not ashamed to say that, because I think everyone's in the same boat, really. Like, this is why I'm so glad there's people like you doing podcasts and things, because you're highlighting things to get involved in, and things to, like, just listening to somebody maybe talk about the fact that they do music or they do art kind of reminds you that it is supposed to be something that you should be like happy to be doing, and not feeling like you have to do it. And it can sometimes feel like that if you're watching everyone do so well, or like there's a lot of pressure, I think, and social media is like, so it's so easy to fake how you're feeling on social media. So yeah, I've brought out the new singles, and that was so fun. Like, I really cherish those moments, but it has been a struggle. Like, and I don't really know any musicians that can say that they haven't had a struggle this year.
Yeah, I think like you said, like everyone is in this kind of like horrible kind of situation where it's quite hard to feel motivated. And I do know that social media can be quite a toxic place depending on kind of where you go. I know for the community that I'm in, the kind of like fiber community with like the knitters and crocheters, it does seem like actually a genuinely nice place, and there's a lot more genuine people who are happy to share their mistakes. And a lot of the people started doing their crafts and stuff because it's a way of helping with their mental health.
Yeah.
And listening to your music and listening to my friend Kira's and other people, it does kind of inspire me to try and pick up my bass and play again. But I feel like
good.
even though I'm not working, I feel like I still don't have any time, because I'm still filling up my time with like creating this podcast, and I'm working on some kind of knitting projects and stuff as well. But like I could still do with like another day, even though I'm furloughed.
Oh, that's exciting. Like, it's good to know that like we're all kind of, even though you might not feel like you are, just sort of putting yourself out there a little bit is inspiring other people. I followed you, and then you followed me on Instagram, and I loved your Instagram feed. I was sitting with my housemate and going through it, like, how sick does this look? How cool is that? Like, so yeah, like I think creative people just they always look after each other, don't they? And it's nice to kind of, as you just said, there is the bad side of social media, but it's also kind of a blessing, really, because it's meant that we can stay in touch with each other, and have that little network of we're almost like little busy bees, like doing our own thing and then coming together, and we've got a community and supporting each other when we feel bad. And it's good.
I mean, there's definitely some kind of positive things of like a lot of people have been able to pick up projects and stuff. Or like I'm sure that you've been able to focus on your music a lot more than like if we weren't in a lockdown and you're working or at university or whatever. Like it gives you a little bit more time. And like for me, if I did ever start a podcast, I would have been talking to people who were like close to me that I could have like popped over or something, and I would not have been able to do the majority of the episodes, and like talk to you, for example, and talk to my newfound friends in Canada and America and stuff. It's like there's some moments that you kind of gotta like hold on to, even though the world is kind of falling apart.
It is mad, isn't it? It's just, I don't know. It's just everyone's dealing with it in their own way, and I think, as you said, like there would be songs that wouldn't exist if it wasn't for lockdown, and I'm grateful for that. Definitely.
Yeah, I think it was probably my first song that I heard from you, because it's like probably the latest release was Nice Try. I think that's probably my favorite song of yours.
It's my favorite song of mine as well that I've released, I think.
It could be just the fact that you've been doing it a little bit more now, and you've kind of got, you're finding your sound a bit more. But yeah, it's definitely my favorite song out of the few that you've got.
Yeah.
But I like all of them, so.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Nice Tries, it's had like an overwhelming response. It's nice though, because I'm watching kind of like me and my manager, we sit and we watch how I started with Better Place, which was the first one I brought out officially. And it's kind of climbing at a nice pace, and I'm meeting a lot of new people, and it's like strange, like some people have been using it on like TikToks and things, and like I'll be like, oh gosh, I didn't obviously it's not gone like mad or anything, but even just random people knowing what it is and seeing all the playlists that it's getting added in it's just proper overwhelming, really. Like it took me a bit of a while to understand that people actually liked it and like were listening to it, and it's had some good radio coverage and it's had some gorgeous reviews, and that's what makes me happy, is when someone reviews it and they really understand what you're trying to say in a song. Because I'm such an emotional person, like I'm such a hopeless romantic as well. So when somebody gets it and they understand what I'm trying to say, it makes me so happy. So yeah.
Awesome. That's really cool. And to be honest, TikTok is a world that I don't understand, and
It's
I'm
mad.
I'm not gonna try. Like I know there's plenty of people who are older than me that are on it, but I feel like I'm far too old to like even start.
You should do some TikToks of you making of you like
I've thought about it. I can't even bring myself to do the Instagram reels, and like I've been on Instagram for like pretty much the day it started, and I can't. Like I'm happy to make the long form kind of like videos that I can put on YouTube or my IGTV, but reels and TikTok is just it's not for me. Like,
It's took me a while to get sort of used to it, and I just find it mad how like you could just post a random video and it could just blow up overnight, and then suddenly you're making money off TikTok. It's just like it doesn't compute in my head, like how the hype around it and how like there's people's songs get used on videos and then all of a sudden they're like in the charts. It's just mad.
yeah. Like we see some like TikTok compilations on YouTube. Like some people put like TikTok compilations, but I think I have actually downloaded the app, but I've not really like probably looked on it.
Like I've got my algorithm now because you have like a news feed on it that's like videos that you'll like. I've like worked my algorithm now to the point where it's basically just Vine on my TikTok. So it's like really stupid niche humor, and it makes I spend like hours on a night just flicking through TikTok like, what are you doing? Go to bed.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from it.
No, I don't blame you. The fact that you've not been sucked in yet is like you deserve some sort of medal, because once you get it and you start using it, I was like, oh no, TikTok, nah, I'm good. Kids do dances on that, I'm sound, I'll leave it. And all of a sudden I'm like making videos to follow trends, and like it's really
I feel like everyone's kind of said that. Like the people who've used it, I've heard that like they were so anti it and then they kind of got sucked into it and then they just can't let go. And I feel like I probably would as well. And I'm like, I'm just going to stay away. I'm just going to stay with my Instagram and I'm going to stay with YouTube for now.
I don't blame you. Stay away while you can.
Yeah. What's your kind of inspiration for music? Like when you're writing, what kind of what inspires you?
Lots of different things, actually. In fact, it makes my friends laugh because when I write songs so I do a lot of sort of testing out songs on my Instagram. So if I've written one, I'll upload a little video of me playing it to see what people think. And my housemate especially, she'll always message me or come in and be like, I know what that line's about. I know who that song's about. And I know I'm really bad at sort of using songs as like a form of like catharsis, if you like. So I do a lot of purging of like boys that have messed me about, or like people that have annoyed me, or things that have made me happy, or but I like to be a bit sneaky with my lyrics and drop things in there that I know the people around me that are my close friends will know straight away is about something, but it's so general and generic that it's relatable to people, but it's not as personal to them as it would be to me. I don't know. I just like to be a bit of a trickster in that sense. And it's just funny because I'll get like my mum will message me and be like, which boys messed you about this time?
That's quite funny.
But yeah, I do. My notes on my phone is just like an absolute mess of random sentences and like little things I see. Like, I don't know, just things make me laugh, so I write them down, and then I'll write a song. Or like things annoy me, so I write it down, write a song. Or I'll have videos on my phones. Half of them are just videos of the ground outside, and I'm just humming a tune. Or like, so if I ever lost my phone, God, I'd like lose like the beginnings of about 60 songs. So
cloud storage. Just make sure that your cloud is like backed up. here is Jessica with just a little update of what she's been up to since we recorded the episode back in February.
Hi everyone, hi Thomas from Knit Slips as well. I'm Jessica Louise and I'm really excited to sort of be a part of the next series of the podcast. It's been a little while since we recorded and a lot has changed since then really. I'm about to release my first ever EP, which I think we actually spoke about, but it's now been recorded and made, so that's really nice. And yeah, I'm about to start gigging again. I've started rehearsing with a really lovely group of people that are now my band. I've got pink hair now, which I don't think I had last time we spoke. And I got a kitten this weekend, which is really nice. Being sort of in Manchester has been lovely, but fingers crossed we can start up some live music, and see the pubs and the venues have reopened, so that's really nice. And yeah, stay tuned. My lead single from my EP, AM, is out on the 18th of June, and then the EP is out on the 9th of July. So yeah, and I hope you enjoy the podcast because it was great having a chat with Thomas a couple of months ago, and great to check in. Mwah.
Thank you, Jessica, for that little update. I hope you're all enjoying the episode so far. Please remember to like and subscribe. And we slip back into the conversation with me asking what she does for work.
So I've just started a new job actually. So it's a bit of like the opposite of what music is, but I work in sales. So I've just started with a really lovely company. I'm not going to say like the company or anything, just like obviously. But yeah, I work in sales, and I'm in an office of like people who, I'm 23, so I'm in an office with like most people are my age or a little bit older or a little bit younger. So it's my first sort of full-time job where I'm kind of looking after myself and I'm feeling independent. So it's really lovely. I've just finished my first proper week after all like 2 weeks of training, and oh my gosh, am I tired. So when you just like my brain is tired from like calling people and making sure things are like right, and because I do a lot of like looking after clients, and yeah, it's like non-advisory, so a lot of it is just helping people out, and if we can help them and we improve on things, we do that. And yeah, but it's I get my weekends now, so, and they're all really supportive in the office. Like when I first started, we had to like say like something about yourselves, and my trainer was like, "Oh, Jess does music." It was on her CV, and then now everyone like pre-saves my single and like plays it and stuff, and it's nice, a nice little community.
That's cool. Yeah, get ready for that tiredness to like continue for like at least the next month. Like, yeah.
I kind of like thrive off it though, because it's given me a bit of a routine, because I've just finished a job where I was doing like 6 a.m. starts, and then 2 days later I'd be finishing at 10 o'clock at night, and I just couldn't keep up with it anymore. Just was draining, like, but like a different kind of tired. Like it's just fun what I'm doing now. I enjoy it.
Yeah, hopefully this kind of work will kind of help that routine and help structure your day, and you'll enjoy writing and like putting more songs together.
Yeah, like it's definitely settled me down a little bit, and knowing that I have my weekends where I can be creative, it's like making me really excited actually, because I finally feel like I've got time to do things that I want to do. So yeah.
That's really cool. Where do you hope your kind of music goes to?
My dream for my music would be to write a soundtrack for a film or a TV show, or I don't know, like even work on a script and produce the soundtrack. Do you know, something because obviously I love theatre as well, so like I'd love to put everything back into that. Like my EP that we're going to be working on, like I really want it to tell a story. Like that's if it doesn't, I'm not going to be happy with it. So yeah, I just love the art of storytelling. So being able to do like a sync deal where you write for film or you write for TV, I think that would be honestly like my dream come true. I think I would be able to sit down and go, yeah, do you know what, you've done well, and you've done well in music. If I could ever do that.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
So if I ever start doing some more long form videos or something, I'll give you a shout if I need some backing music or something.
Yes, definitely.
That's really cool. Because I think I saw on your Instagram, I had your page somewhere, that you're featured on BBC.
BBC Introducing. Yeah.
How did that happen? Like, how did that work?
They've got a really good platform for upcoming musicians, so unsigned people. So each region has its own like BBC show. So I'm on BBC Merseyside, and I uploaded my tracks. They listen to it, and then they decide whether to broadcast it or not. So Dave Monks from BBC Merseyside has honestly supported me from the beginning. Like, he is a fabulous advocate for new music, and what he does for us is amazing. But from that, they can escalate it to bigger shows like Radio 1 or BBC 6 as well. So it's a really good platform for young musicians, because it means that, I mean, I've had my music listened to by like Radio 1 before, but they've never played it, but at least they've listened to it. It's a good motivation for musicians. It's like you can see what your future might look like, do you know, if you keep pushing and you keep working. And yeah, it's good.
It's a nice avenue for those, like the BBC, for example, is massive to like actually listen to your stuff. Otherwise, it's kind of like hoping it might come on a Spotify playlist.
It sort of eliminates it's not what you know, it's who you know kind of aspect of the industry, because that is a big sort of barrier for a lot of people. But if you can upload that and they listen to, I think they aim to listen to every upload, so it's a fair game really. And then from that, I've just developed a really good working relationship with the presenters and the producers. There's Jade, one of the producers for the Merseyside show, and they're just really, really supportive. And even like the way they support you is like they always tag you in a tweet, or like they when you get that post tag that you're being played on BBC Intro, it's like the first time I ever got it, I cried. Like it's just such a good feeling of achievement to be recognised like that. It's a really good platform. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool to hear as well, that they are supporting kind of independent artists that are trying to make it in the music industry. Because we kind of touched about this in the video I did with Kira, but the music industry is changing drastically, and it is quite hard. There's pros and cons about being a musician nowadays. Like,
yeah, definitely.
The pros, you can do a lot more of the stuff at home. Like, you've got so much, like, you've basically got a recording studio in your phone if you know how to work it. But then there's a lot of people that can do that. So but I think with social media, you can try and find your fandom, I think. Like, I think it was probably a lot harder back in the day when you had to get a recording label to actually have your stuff heard. Like now you can put it on Spotify, and like you can have thousands of people listen to it. Yeah,
that's another thing, is like platforms like Spotify, they're good for exposure and having somewhere because it's so widely used now. Like most people use Spotify or Apple Music, or it's such a good way to get your music out there. I just wish they paid more than 0.06 pence, I think it is, a stream. So
yeah.
But like that's kind of a big discussion in itself, really. But for the purpose of sharing music and stuff, it's really good. Yeah, like again, like BBC Intro is probably one of the biggest ones I know for sharing like new music and stuff. And then you've got like there's a Manchester show, Excess Manchester, so the radio station, they really support like new music as well. You've got Indie Rocks in Manchester as well. They're like a big radio station, and they have loads of radio shows, and they like bring in new music all the time. But I just think Manchester in general that's why I wanted to live here, because it's such a hub for music. It's honestly like one of the most like wonderful cities, I think, for music, because there's such a broad range of it. And like you say, like it is such a hard industry to get into and to sort of be successful in, to sort of like when you get to like the big artists, it's like one in a million. Do you know what I mean? But Manchester has such a underground music scene and a grassroots music scene that a lot of people are just happy chilling in that and doing what they do here. And yeah, I love Manchester for that.
That was the end of season 2. Thank you very much, Jessica, for being on the podcast. I had a really good conversation. I hope that you all really enjoyed it as well. I hope you enjoyed all the episodes that I've recorded so far. If this is the first time you've started watching, then make sure you go back and check out some of the other episodes as well. If you like the music ones, then episode 1 is talking to Kira, who is a musician friend of mine, where we have episodes with other crafters, knitters, and a really good talk with Maddie from the Posh Pet Kitchen as well. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, Jessica has released a new single from her EP, which is out today. Definitely go and check that out on Spotify. There'll be links down below so you can go and check out her page. I hope everyone's doing alright at home. I know that the UK is kind of a bit more into the swing of things. The vaccine is getting rolled out quite well at the moment, I think. I hope everything's going right in the country or wherever you're watching this from. Little updates. I have got quite a few projects kind of going on at the moment. Just felt inspired with a few knitting projects that I kind of wanted to get started on. So I have like 3 kind of main knitting projects that I'm kind of currently working on, and then I have a couple of things that I want to start soon as well. And then the next kind of big project that I'm working on is another video project where I want to get you involved. It's more of a project of I want to create little videos of people talking about their mental health and how crafting has helped. I want to try and help break down the stigma of mental health, and I also want to try and help show how crafting can really help. So these are going to be little short stories of people kind of introducing themselves and talking about their experience with mental health, and then how their craft has helped them deal with anxiety or stress. So if you would like to get involved with that, go and message me on Instagram. I'm putting together a little video on how to create your video, and then you'll send it over to me, and then I'll be able to edit it, and then I'll post it on my socials as well. I think it's going to be a really good project, and I'm hoping it'll help spread the awareness of crafting and doing things like this to help with mental health. And those are my kind of main updates. I do have a bonus episode of this podcast that will be coming out probably in a month or so. It's going to tie in with a historic cooking video that we've done, where I talked to Esme from Leave It to Esme, which is a really nice Caribbean restaurant in Coventry. And that's a really good conversation, and it ties in really nicely with the historic cooking episode that I'm doing. But I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been on the podcast for season 1 and 2, and a big thank you to all of you as well for listening and watching. I really hope you've all enjoyed the episodes. Please go and follow me on Instagram and my YouTube page as well. I have plenty of content out there, and I've got loads of ideas of more stuff that I want to kind of produce. But yeah, now I will leave you with Jessica performing her acoustic version of Nice Try. Thank you very much.
Tell me what you're drinking. That's what I'm on to. Tell me what you're thinking. 'Cause I'm thinking that why should I trust you when I know that you lie? Put your hand in mine, 'cause we both know we hate goodbye. You made me weak at the knees. You do. You do.